Hey, what's going on YouTube, and welcome back to another video. Now today we're going to be working on my 1997 Honda Civic hatchback. And if you guys haven't seen the previous video on this car, I'd really recommend checking it out, and I'll make sure to leave a link above. Now what we're going to be going into today is actually going to be the subframe for the K-series build that I'm actually going to be doing on this car. So this is essentially the K-swap that I'm doing. I'm doing a JDM K24A with a K20 Z3 6-speed transmission. So what I actually have behind me over here is the subframe that I actually pulled from a junkyard 1993 Honda Civic, or also known as the EG. So the car that I currently have is the EK, which is the 96 to 2000 generation, and I'll go into further detail as to what subframe you should choose when you're doing a K-series. Now, there are gonna be some pros and cons to each one, and I think it will be really beneficial for you guys to know this, especially if you're gonna be going through a K-series on your Honda. But luckily in this case, I have the car up on the lift, and what I'm gonna show you guys is what it currently looks like, and then all the stuff you'll need to do the subframe swap. And what I'm actually gonna be doing today is spending some time in the shop cleaning this subframe up so that we can make it nice and presentable to be able to put this in the car, because I got it for really cheap. I got it for like $55 shipped, which is insane. But you have to remember that this is a bare carcass, and the subframe is basically what holds up the steering rack. So there's gonna be some things you need to swap over. And with that being said, let's just move the camera over to the subframe and I'll show you guys what I'm talking about here. And what I'm gonna do here is flash some light underneath, and maybe we'll get a better idea of what we're working here with when it comes to the subframe itself. And as you can see, it starts here on the left side and it holds in stuff like the lower control arm. And we're gonna move our way across, and you can see the back portion of it as it's its own one piece here. So there's two ways that you can go about this. You can either drop the engine and transmission with the subframe or without. So in this case, I think I'm gonna do it with the engine when we pull this out. And I haven't gotten to that point just yet, because I think there's a couple things that I still need to do before pulling the engine out. And the biggest thing really is evacuating the AC. Yes, I could pull a line and kind of do it the tastefully clapped way, but I don't want to harm the environment, and it's probably best that I take it to a shop so that they can use the proper equipment to take that out. But this is the original subframe that came on this. So this is the EK subframe. Now, for those wondering, if you're going to be doing a K-swap on a Honda, can you run an EK subframe? And the answer is yes. Yes, you can. Now, the reason that you would want to do an EG subframe if you're going to be doing a K-swap like this is actually going to be due to the angle of the axles. So when you do something of a K-series swap, the angle of this is actually going to be a little bit different, because the EK subframe moves the engine forward. So if you have an EK subframe, the axle angle will actually change. And that may not be something that you would see initially when you drive the car. It's probably not going to be noticeable, but especially if you're going to be making more of an effort to, start throwing mods at it, if you want to boost it, et cetera, that's something that's actually going to come into play. And the angle of your axles actually does play a pretty tremendous role in all of this stuff. So I think it's worth definitely looking into as something that you can consider when you're doing the swap over. So now I'm going to walk over and show you guys real quick the EG subframe that I picked up and that I will be planning on putting in the car. Again, as you can see, it is absolutely disgusting. I mean, it's caked in all kinds of unpleasantries and grease and stuff like that. And then we'll also be having to swap over the mounts. So I have a set of Hasport mounts that are compatible for the EG subframe. So that's something that we're also going to do too. And then one of the biggest things that you actually want to do and consider when you do the swap over is you have to make sure that you have all of the correct hardware. So this is all the hardware that was pulled off of the junkyard EG subframe. And the biggest ones that you want to be careful of is these bolts right here. So these really long bolts, you have to make sure that these are the correct length, because on the EG subframe, they're have a tendency to be a little bit taller. So you see right here, if you were to put these underneath, you have to make sure that it goes to the correct height so that you're able to correctly tighten this down, because you don't want to mess around with this stuff. You really want to make sure that you do this correctly, because it's a structural integrity thing, and it's also holding a part of the engine and transmission. So very important there. I don't think we're gonna need to use any of this over here, but what we are gonna be using is some of the stuff that I have here in the box. I haven't unboxed everything, but this will give you a good idea of what we're working with here. So this is actually going to be for the mounts that we're going to be using. So this is from Hasport, just something that I went and bought on my own that I actually got from Hybrid Racing. So I actually do have a discount for you guys if you guys want to go check out this stuff on Hybrid Racing. You can join my team page and you get 5% off of this stuff. So I'll make sure to link that down below. But anyways, this is the actual mount that we're going to be putting on today after I clean this thing off. So it will go like so, just like this. So we'll be completely replacing this one, putting this here in the interim, and I'll spend some more time mounting up the brackets and things once we get to that stage. But I just don't think that we're necessarily there just yet, because these are actually going to go on the frame rails of the car. So like if we were to bring that over to the Civic, it would actually be aligning with the frame rails on each side. So that's going to be really beneficial for us there. So what I'm going to be using to degrease this, I have all kinds of different things, but I'm actually going to be giving this a shot. I got this from a local place here. It's called Tacoma Screw, and this is like their super high concentrated purple clean that I should be able to use for parts. So I'm just going to douse this thing, and I'll be shooting some short form content for this as well. So sometimes, you know, the engine building stuff really is the less glamorous things, but you know, it's all a part of the journey here. And then where I'm currently at with the engine right now is I actually am getting it ready to remove not just the oil pump, but also remove the cams. So in the previous video, you guys may have seen that I took off the timing cover with all of the with the tensioner, with the guides and all that. So that's all been taken off. And then on the oil pan, I'm gonna be taking this off to remove the windage tray and the oil pump. So I'll make sure to have some content on that as well. Maybe you guys can even let me know down in the comments what kind of K-series content that you guys wanna see, because I think I'm gonna keep it pretty open-ended for you guys so you can see what's going on while I'm here at Ant's Community Garage working on this car. And luckily today it's a pretty chill day, so you know, I thought that this would be a good opportunity to go through some more K-series stuff. So I'm planning on making more stuff like this. So make sure to like and comment down below if you want to see more stuff like this. Easy. Guys, I just wanted to provide you with a quick little update on the subframe. Would you believe this is the same subframe that was from the junkyard for $55? I think what really did the job was using some brake clean and taking my time and doing a quick scuff and spray. And what I had laying around here, what I was going to use for some of the other engine components on the K24, is this engine enamel high temp spray. So I know that it probably could have done a way better job in terms of prep and stuff, but this is something that you don't really get to see. And I just thought the OCD in me was kicking in, and I'm already doing all this work. So I might as well just go and make it look as good as new. So I also took off these little portions that hold in the bolts that go onto the subframe over here. I took them off, scuffed them, and also sprayed them, so they're drying off right now. And I think we're in a really good spot here. I'll probably put the Hasport mount on at the very end of all this, but I gotta let it dry. I might do a quick other just light coat. And it was really just like a light dusting, really just going from left to right. But overall, it made a tremendous difference in terms of the way it looks now. So I think we're ready to start getting this prepped so that we can put this in the car. But now I'm on the hunt for a steering rack. So I'll be putting a steering rack onto this, and we'll get it all bolted up, so it should be good to go. But I think with that being said, I do really want to thank you guys so much for watching today's video. Let me know down in the comments what you guys want to see in terms of K-swap content. There's plenty of it, and it's something that I'm always considering. And something also considering is checking out my YouTube membership page, where you get early access to stuff, exclusive perks, and much more. But with that being said, thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next one.